Hello, internet friends. Welcome back to the Dailey Blend Show with me, Reed Dailey. It is the week of October 18th, 2023, and we have a very special weekly rundown edition for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, we are doing a revamp of the website, which I'm going to jump into. We are recording this, but we're also doing video for the first time, so we'll see how that actually shakes out and how silly I look on camera and what that means in terms of editing and time commitment. But, you know, I'm pretty fired up about it. And, of course, we're going to run through what's going on across Dailey Blend, some special projects, and what's new and good in the world at large. Before I jump into the show, I want to remind you that this show is available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcasts. We're available, or I shouldn't say anywhere, but most places. And then we are also on X and Instagram at Dailey Blend. That's DAILEY BLEND. And with all that said, let's jump into the show. So in the show openings, I talked about how we had a couple things new going on. So we're doing video for the first time ever, but we're also doing some revamp of the website. I had an inbound sales call from someone pitching me on their services, and I said, hey, I really like your services. I'm interested. However, you should look at this organization that does something very similar to you. You're doing it in a very manual fashion. They're going about it in a digital lens. Maybe you guys should join forces. And I was actually giving a little bit of insight into the company, and I was clicking through their website, and I was like, wow, this is a superior look and feel to my portal. DaileyBlend.com, and it was time for a refresh. So I did a bit of auditing and updating over the weekend, doing some new graphics, new look and feel, also kind of a redesign of the website. So head over to DaileyBlend.com. Let me know what you think. You'll obviously be seeing some of this on YouTube and Instagram and through X, but a lot of energy was spent in terms of updating the website. So I hope you like the way it looks and feels. So jumping over to stories within Dailey Blend, and the first we've got is Postal Service and their live album, Everything Will Change. One of the things that I really liked was the fact that Postal Service, the members were in a bunch of different groups, and this was sort of like they had put out their first album. It had been I think 10 or 15 years, and then they put out this album. So good things come to those that wait. The other thing was we put out last week on Music Monday, which was Drake for All the Dogs. I have not actually listened to this album yet, so I'm jumping on a plane tomorrow morning. Drake is my go-to travel music. His album, what was it? Not Levels. That's Avicii. Not Six. What was it? Whatever the third one was, Views. Views is like my go-to album for falling asleep when I'm about to take off. So that's an album we posted, and I'm looking forward to actually diving into this. And then in terms of Throwback Thursdays, I found this fantastic, incredible Boiler Room set of Tale of Us from 10 years ago. They are DJing with what looks like Tractor. Obviously, it could have been Serato. I don't think Final Scratch was still around there. Anyway, some sort of digital vinyl system, but the fact that they were not on CDJs, they're at someone's house or apartment. There was 100 people there. It's pretty cool to see that come together. The next thing I want to talk about is Drink with Greg. Obviously, it's a partnership with my good buddy Greg Larson. We've got a couple things kicking off this week. We've got the drink of the week, which is the Coastal Negroni. And this is with Sherrington Seaside Gin, and I know I'm not saying that correctly. I came across this drink thanks to Caitlin Stewart. She's one of my favorite mixologist, bartender, YouTuber, Instagram stars. I follow her pretty religiously on both YouTube and Instagram. Her videos are like 3 to 5 minutes, simple, keep it easy, like drinks and approach. Really like what she's doing. So hats off to Caitlin. You can find her on Instagram. It's Likeable Cocktails. And then for the book of the week, we featured the Aviary cocktail book. So I'm in Chicago, and the Aviary is a fantastic restaurant. They did a cocktail book that was over 400 pages in the special edition. The imagery is fantastic. It's a little on the pricey side. I think it's like $150, but I see myself looking at a capital purchase for the Christmas season this year for myself. So hats off to Chicago and the Aviary, and head over to drinkwithgreg.com to have a read through both those posts, and then also go check out the latest and greatest from our podcast, Negronis with Greg. All right, moving on. We did our last Friday top 5 post last week. We did 5 things as always. So we did the Kelsey documentary and kind of things of what you should watch. It's about the Kelsey brother on the Eagles. There's 2, and just sort of the last, quote unquote, last season with the Eagles, although he's still playing, and I think he's going to play for a lot longer now that his brand has really gone up, their podcast has really gone up, et cetera, et cetera. Then there was I was trying to do buckets on the Friday Top 5, and it was things to take your mind off, and I found this great DJ Lego set that was a remake of a CDJ, and it looks fantastic. It's still in like a Kickstarter GoFundMe on the Lego page, so I hope that gets made. In terms of tools or toys, I don't know how you want to look at it. Leica put out this fantastic new digital to analog camera, so you get all the best features of a Leica camera, but you get sort of the Kodak instant film, or I think it was Kodak, maybe it was Fuji. Anyway, the instant film, and it's the smaller version of the instant films, which I love. I use those all the time with my family, and I think they're fantastic. In terms of if you want everyone to love you, and you want people to know you've spent some time in the South without saying, I've spent time in the South, Krispy Kreme is doing a limited edition run of Scooby-Doo donuts for Halloween. So go to your local Krispy Kreme. The closest one for me is 18.6 miles. So I'm looking forward to going, and I'll let you guys know how those taste. The last thing on the Friday Top 5 was Bathing Apes, which is one of my favorite Japanese imports. Did a collaboration with Coca-Cola celebrating 30 years of Bathing Apes, and so they've got a capsule collection with some hats, some shirts, and most importantly some shoes. It's very cool. 2 brands I love: Coke down in Atlanta, Bathing Apes out of Japan. If I have time, I'm going to walk over to the Bathing Ape store. I've actually never been to the one up by Central Park, and go check it out. But I've said that 6 times now, and I never seem to find time to go. But if you work at the Bathing Ape store and you listen to this show, be on the lookout for me. In terms of the last feature for the weekly rundown, we've got On the Road series coming back. So it's been a while. A lot of why I started Dailey Blend was really about connecting with people and places. And I've done a way better job of connecting with people, and I still travel a ton, but I just don't kind of highlight some of that content. A little bit of that's being busy, a little of it's being lazy. Quite frankly, I think it's a lot to do with not being organized, so I'm trying to do a better job of that. But more recently, I took a trip to Boston this summer, and if you head over to daileyblend.com, you can see kind of some of my recommendations of where to eat, where to run, where to stay, and most importantly, where to drink. If you it's a little sneak peek on where to drink. My buddy Matt Kurtzman owns a distillery called Short Path. They do a fantastic job. They've got a library of spirits, and I highly recommend you go checking it out. Their facility is not that far away from the Encore Casino. I haven't been, but I kind of want to do a double header of drinks with Matt at his distillery, and then head over for some gambling. Although I'm not a big gambler, I just want to go see what it's all about. All right, that wraps it up for this week's episode of the Weekly Rundown. as part of the Dailey Blend show. I'm fired up because it took a lot of energy and effort to update the website. And then this is, like I said, the first time we're doing video. We'll see how the edit goes and if I actually release this on YouTube or if I need to go talk to some friends of mine who are better at video. As always, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to follow us on social media on Instagram and X. And you can find me this week in New York City on Wednesday and Thursday. And then I will be back in Chicago for some paddle matches and some fun in the cold weather. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.